She is the Queen of the North, able to freely manipulate ice. This is her sister, the most beautiful woman in the South and the most powerful witch in history. However, she unexpectedly marries an old emperor. One evening, the witch persuades the old emperor to play a game of chess, a magical game. Distracted, the emperor loses and collapses, leading to the witch naturally becoming the new empress of the South. Under her sister's care, she becomes invincible until she is shocked to find that her sister has fallen in love. The witch, who does not believe in love, warns her sister, but the love-struck sister does not heed her advice and insists on being with her man, even becoming pregnant with his child. Soon, the child is born, and the sister is overjoyed. She wants to leave the castle with her lover to live an ordinary life in the countryside. Tragically, at the last moment, her lover betrays her. On the night they plan to elope, he burns their child in front of her and claims he had no choice. In her despair and rage, the sister turns the man into an ice column and kills him next to their daughter's body. The witch comforts her sister, but cannot keep her heartbroken sister from leaving the castle. The sister travels to the far north, establishes her own kingdom, builds a castle of ice, and declares herself the Snow Queen, raising many orphans and setting strict rules.
Because in my kingdom there is but one law. Do not love.
Perhaps in her eyes, this was a form of protection, believing that only those who do not love can avoid getting hurt. The queen trains the orphans into fierce soldiers and teaches them to be cold and ruthless. As they grow, the queen starts to conquer lands far and wide, particularly favoring two children who excel in close combat and ranged attacks. She hopes they will become her chief supporters, but unfortunately, these two fall in love and plan to elope, which the queen discovers. Rules are rules, and even her favorite children must duel to the death, with only the victor allowed to live. However, they instead attack the soldiers surrounding them. Seeing their steadfast love, the queen's face softens slightly as she conjures an ice wall to force the man to watch his girlfriend die before his eyes. After throwing the man off a cliff, she orders the borders of her kingdom closed. However, news soon arrives that her sister, the witch, has been killed by the king's daughter, Snow White, who also orders the destruction of the witch's magic mirror. Without the mirror, the witch would be truly dead. The queen sends her army to find the mirror, but it ends up in the hands of Snow White, who nearly succumbs to its dark magic. Before losing her sanity, Snow White sends the mirror away, but the covering falls off during transport, and the soldiers escorting it begin to kill each other. 7 years later, the male protagonist, Eric, enters the scene, living a ranger's life in the deep forest, building stone cairns to commemorate his dead girlfriend. The mirror's mishap draws him back into a war of power. Entrusted by a prince, Eric sets out to find the mirror. When ambushed, a woman saves him. It's his presumed dead girlfriend. She knocks him out, and when he wakes up, he finds himself tied up in a cave, his girlfriend angrily questioning him. Eric hastily explains that it was the queen's instigation. Meanwhile, the queen is seen gently rocking the cradle of her stillborn daughter, touching the empty cradle that is in eternal pain in her heart. As a servant approaches with a torch, the queen, in a rage, freezes his hand.
No fire!
He quickly presents a mask, and through it, the queen sees where the magic mirror is hidden, in the territory of orc-like creatures, sparking a new plan in her mind. Meanwhile, Eric's group also learns of the mirror's location. They travel to the orc's den, made of gold, where no one can take anything without being pursued for miles. They cross a river that flows with molten gold and reach the orc chieftain's residence, where due to the mirror's enchantment, orcs are killing each other, leaving bodies everywhere. Eric sneaks out, grabs an axe, and attacks. The group grabs the mirror and runs, escaping into the forest once inhabited by Snow White, filled with benevolent magic. Angered by the queen and haunted by thoughts of revenge, Eric summons the mirror. At this moment, the queen catches up, freezing the calm lake with her arrival and surrounding them with a snowstorm. Mounted on an ice bear, the queen smiles at Eric as his girlfriend, now aligned with the queen, shoots him in the heart. The queen retrieves the mirror, and as the army departs, Eric awakens, the arrow having hit a token of their trust. A planned ruse built on their trust. As the former queen gazes into the mirror, asking who the most beautiful woman in the world is, a golden liquid flows from the mirror, forming the shape of a person. It's the Queen's sister, the world's most beautiful woman. After being killed by Snow White, the witch, now without a physical body, can only inhabit the magic mirror between the realms of life and death. She approaches the Queen's throne, bends down, and asks her sister to help rebuild her kingdom, eager to conquer Snow White's land and return to the pinnacle of power. With two queens now in the Ice Fortress, Eric and his allies seize the opportunity. During the twilight hours, they sneak into the castle, and although the Queen is reluctant, she must listen to her domineering sister, who quickly arranges for soldiers to prepare an attack on neighboring countries. Unbeknownst to them, Eric has already infiltrated the castle. At a rally, the Queen announces her military plans, and an arrow aimed at her head is thrown back by the witch, mocking Eric's incapacity. The female protagonist steps in with a knife but is stopped. The witch persuades the Queen to kill the lovers, but despite his arguments, the Queen still shows compassion, having raised these children herself. The executioner, a childhood friend of Eric's, tears in his eyes, reflects on their shared memories, which are genuine despite laws forbidding emotions. Glancing at the two queens on the high platform, the black-clad man stands by Eric's side. The queens, both hurt by past lovers, mockingly watch the lovers, questioning their intense love in the face of death and summoning a black, mysterious liquid to attack. Despite their extensive combat training, their ordinary bodies are helpless against magic. As they watch their children about to be annihilated, the Queen raises an ice wall, and inside, the two lovers argue. The Queen presses her sister's face, but unexpectedly discovers the truth. Years ago, the mirror told the witch that her sister would bear a child, the most beautiful woman in the world. The witch, unable to bear this, kills her own niece and pins the crime on the child's father. Learning the truth, the Queen cries out in agony, summons an ice pillar, but is immediately pierced by the black liquid, shattering the ice wall. The soldiers outside are crushed by the debris. The witch continues her liquid assault, blocked by the Queen's hand. As the witch prepares to deliver a killing blow, the Queen hugs her sister, ready to die with her, but is ultimately counterkilled due to her weakness. Lying on the ground, she uses her last strength to freeze the witch-inhabited magic mirror. Eric seizes the moment to kill the witch with his axe. As the Queen dies, she finally protects her child, finding peace. But the story is not over yet. Far away, controlled by the magic mirror, Snow White seems to have inherited the witch's magic.